He's so cute. So cute. Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to day 45 of our online Facebook COVID yoga practice studio. As spring is here, and in this time zone anyways, the days are getting longer. We are going to be moving into a little bit more of some flow postures with more energy in this season. So start with our up of breathing, the neck, the shoulders, and a little bit in the legs. We'll come into a little bit of flow in the middle and finish with some yin positions at the end. Let's begin. Close your eyes, open your mind, deepen your breath, soften your heart. Relax your body. With every inhale, feel the spine lengthening, lifting. Allow the chin to just relax. Let the neck completely relax. Shoulders are down. Palms can be facing up or down. And feel the belly and all the internal organs just hanging off of those bones. Just feel that interdependence. All wrapped up in our elastic skin, of course. So as you breathe, feel that extension, feel the balloon in your belly, and start to feel the wave moving through your body, both in the front and in the back. The two, of course, do not exist without the other. So just feel that lift, that lengthening. If you find your mind wandering during the practice, come back to your breath, extending the exhale to be twice as long as the inhalation. If you find your mind wandering, set an intention for yourself, a simple sentence, short mantra that you can use to repeat. Leaving everything outside of this room, coming into your body, coming into the space that we are creating with our breath. And when you are ready, let's begin. Dropping the hands from the knees, inhaling, arms up, shoulders down, eyes of the elbows open, nice and slow, long arms, touching the tips of the fingers at the top of the breath. Then exhale, changing directions of the palms, coming down. And from here, even just begin to notice, are you parallel? Is there symmetry in your body? So I've got a little tickle in my nose. And nice and slowly, remember every exhale is extended twice as long as the inhale, touching the tips of the fingers and inhaling up. Again, feel that length. Feel the speed, or rather the slowing down of your motion. Exhaling down. One more time coming up. The definition of yoga is union. The breath is the connection factor, bringing together the body and the mind as a first step. And on your next inhale, coming up, holding here for a moment, just feel the opening of the chest, lengthening of the spine, dropping of the shoulders, feel the gravity against the arms. Stretching out the neck, so left fingers to the right temple, right fingers down and nodding yes. Nice and slowly. A breath with every movement. And once we come down, drop the hands, drop the head, look towards the armpit. Feel that stretch, both palms facing down. And then drop the chin, rolling it quarter circle down to the chest, and inhaling up. Feel all those little places, those minor muscles, any kinks, any tension, just leaving the body. Make sure your spine stays nice and long, and on your next inhale, everything rises up. And same thing on the opposite side. So right fingers for the left temple, left fingers tented or planted. Nodding down, yes, spreading that positive mantra through the body, and this very nourishing neck movements, very effective to really get to the crux of your body issues. On your next exhale, drop the head, drop the hand, palm facing down, and looking towards the armpit. Don't lose your posture, all those posture muscles working hard here. Breathing deeply into the balloon in your belly, and exhale, quarter circle, chin to the chest. And follow your breath. Just looking to the armpit. We don't have to come all the way up. Just feel that deep, long stretch. And on your next exhale, dropping everything down, and inhale, lifting everything up. Interlace fingers behind the head, bring the elbows in. Remember this position, we're going to come to it later when we're in our back bend on the block. Chin into the chest and just stretching out the cervical spine. So I will adjust myself for demonstration. You can stay as you are. So our elbows are in and we're just dropping the head down, chin into the chest. Keep lengthening in the spine and hold here for a few breaths. On your next inhale, slowly rolling up. Last thing up is the head, opening the elbows, and we're going to come into a child's position now. So rolling over onto your front knees, adjusting yourself as necessary, opening the feet nice and wide, tips of the toes touching, and just walk the hands forward. We're going to be here just for a breathing practice. So yes, we're getting all the benefits of the hip and the lengthening of your spine, but this is where I want us to start breathing today. So find your grounding, lengthen the palms, press the hands into the ground, and even hear that first knuckle, so the base of that first index pointer finger and that first bottom knuckle that connects the palm with the digit, that's where you want to press down into the ground, stretching. That's where you want to have your main focus for your weight and your control, but the hands, of course, pressing equally throughout the ground, tucking your chin into the chest, pressing the forehead to the ground, and here for 10 deep breaths. Now, as we breathe, let's start to just feel that balloon in the belly expanding and lifting, just like a thermometer. Those old thermometers, of course, with the mercury ball. Look at, just imagine that ball rising. And just notice how high it gets without judgment, without expectation. And again, breathing nice and deeply. Just notice, where does that ball of energy, that breath, how high does it go? How low does it drop? Just breathing here. Nice, smooth, slow, steady, comfortable breaths, extending your exhale to be twice as long as the inhale. Feel the diaphragm dropping down between the thighs. Feel the side of the ribs expanding with no weight. No weight holding. Your chest may be able to touch the ground. If so, try to get the sternum, that center bone, pressing in nice and deeply. That also has a lot of movement there with every breath. Feel the side intercostal muscles in the ribs expanding. And then feel the breath climbing up into the back of the shoulders. And just take a moment to sit there in the back of your back. The back of your lungs, feel the opening coming. Good. Now on your next inhale, we're going to come up into a high table. So a nice rounded spine, keeping the chin into the chest, lifting up. You can adjust your knees here if you want to bring them a little bit closer together for balance. You can also let your feet come up. And if you need a little shake or wiggle, you are welcome to do so. But keep the chin into the chest, keep the palms pushing down. Feel the blood gushing back to your toes. And then exhale, just start to lean forward. Wherever you come is exactly where you need to be. If it's right here, this is fine, and start coming back. And wherever your body naturally finds space is exactly where you need to be. If you're able to drop down into a cobra, wonderful. Let your head hang back, and you can even let the feet fold in and follow your breath. And a few rolls up and down like this. Really feeling that full extension of the spine. Leading with the head as we drop. And the head is the last thing to come up as we lift. So keeping the chin down. And inhale. Good. Let's hold this position here for a minute. Whichever position you may find yourself. Pushing into the hands, shoulders down, lengthening the arms, breathing, lengthening the neck. Gentle with the back of the neck. Try to relax your bum, relax your legs. On your next inhale, let's come up to a tabletop position. So lining up the hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders in alignment on both sides, knees and hips, of course, on the opposite side. Let your hips roll from side to side if you like. Tops of the feet are flat, but if they need a little bit of a shake or if they've got any kinks, just shake all of that energy out. And you can roll front and back a little bit here too. Just play with this position. We don't have to go the full extent as we did, but of course you're more than welcome, bringing in the side as well. And when you're ready, we're going to come into a balance. So starting with the left leg up. If the leg is sufficient, hold here. Otherwise, let's introduce the opposite arm. So really lengthening the body, point the toes, stretch the fingers. Keep the weight on that first knuckle on the standing hand. Shoulders are down away from the ears. Feel the strength in the back of the body. And exhale, move knee to the nose, elbow to the rib. And lengthen 2 or 3 times. Nice and slowly. And on your next exhale, let's just drop the hand and do the same thing on the other side. So again, if you want to let the hips fall side to side, give a little shake or a wiggle, rounding in the back, whatever you might feel. And when you're ready, let's find your alignment and do the same thing on the opposite side. So this time, right leg, pointing toes. If you're comfortable, you can bring in the left arm. Weight and balance determined by the knuckles and the fingers. And when you're ready, let's move. Exhale. And inhaling, lengthen. And breathe. 2 or 3 times, each movement getting a little bit slower than the last. Working out the spine a little bit here. And exhaling down. Very good. Again, if you need to, rock side to side, up and down, back and forth, circles or squares, whatever you may feel. When you're ready, we're going to come into a downward dog, which is a triangle type of position. Of course, our hips are straight up in the air. Imagine that we're dangling from the hips, if you will. Let's start by first lining up our hands, checking that first knuckle, feel the weight. And you want to have the eyes of the elbows facing each other, shoulders down, and lengthen through the spine. Once you have that upper body, start to curl the toes, keep the knees bent, and just start to bring the belly to the thighs. So we want touch and nice pressure from the belly and the thigh. Okay, stretching out the toes here, stretching out the fingers, the armpits. Chin is tucked into the chest. Feel like you're about to sprint or about to leap. And then imagine that thing is lifting from your tailbone, slowly starting to straighten the legs one by one. You can walk the legs out if you need a little bicycle movement. And again, explore this space, side to side, up and down. And if you're feeling really energetic, you can even come into a more extended type of up dog, down dog. Okay, and of course in the up dog, we're not in the cobra. We don't come down to touch, but we're still getting that nice movement in the back. Again, if we're coming into an up dog, the head is the last thing to come up. And into a down dog, the head is the first thing. And breathing here. Very good. Now we're going to come down into Vajrasamana. Take a little breathing break here. So we are going to come back and we are going to do some flow, but that was just a bit of a sample of where we're going to be going today. So in Vajrasamana, sitting on our heels, lengthening the spine. Take a moment to come back to your regular breath. We'll come into Viloma Pranayama, which is the staircase type of breathing. It's about a 1-1-2-2 count. So if you inhale for one breath, hold for one. And then again, until you hit the top of your breath. So one inhale, one hold. One in, one hold. Or 2 seconds or 3 seconds or whatever your breath count may be. As you exhale, that lengthens. So if your inhale was 3 seconds, 3-second hold, 3-second in, 3-second hold, until you get to the top of your breath. And then 6-second exhale, 6-second hold. Exhale, 6, hold 6, again until you get to the bottom of your breath. Now you can make it shorter. You can make it just a 1-second inhale for the pumping sensation, or you can find your natural breath, whichever is most comfortable for you, as long as it's balanced, that 1-1-2-2 ratio. Okay, so when you're ready, I will direct us on the first, do with it on the second, and we'll all join together on the third and preceding rounds. We'll do this for about 2 minutes. If at any time you feel discomfort, change the seating of your legs. We are going to come from here into a downward dog. So when you're ready, exhaling completely. And then, and my hand is just to demonstrate, you can keep your hands down. We're going to inhale, hold. Inhale, hold. Inhale, hold. That's the top of your breath. Begin now to exhale, hold. Exhale, hold. Exhale, hold. And follow your breath. Now inhale, hold. Again, hold. Once you're at the top of your breath, reverse twice as long and exhale, hold. Exhale completely, possibly, and hold. Keep building. This is a breath practice that extends your breath capacity. So I will join you now for this last round. Always keeping the shoulders down and just feel that pumping sensation. And at the top of your breath, a real falling sensation. Very good. before we come into our downward dog, let's really open up those lungs a little bit more. So inhaling, arms out, stretching the elbows, so left in front of the right, pulling it in, and inhale. Exhale, opposite arm, and inhale, overhead now. Slight back bend possibly when we come with the arms out. So arms out, back bending. And inhale, opposite arm. And exhale back. Let's hold these cactus arms here in a back bend for a moment. And when you're ready, let's just fall down to the left side and keep that movement open. The opposite side, looking upward, relax your legs, relax your shoulders, and hold here for a few breaths. And exhale, coming down and in for a little twist. You can have your hand on your heel and your knee for some leverage. And inhale, arms up, and same thing on the other side. So up and over, let the legs just fall. And again, feel that weight of gravity pull you down. Feel the side body opening, shoulders dropping. And on your exhale, come all the way down into a twist. Holding the limbs for leverage, looking behind you. And when you're ready, wide arms up and front and opposite side again. This time, let's open the legs a little bit. So instead of staying close, let's keep the knees separated. And you might want to have the calf, so the front of your shin here, or the front of your calf, just tucked into the bottom of your foot or just against it, almost in a deer position. So we're going to come into a twist. Inhaling, arms up, shoulders down. Exhale, forward, reach as far as you can go. And then begin to walk the hands all the way to the side. Keep the legs relaxed. Keep the body nice and low. Find your twist and hold here for 5 deep breaths. On your next inhale, let's look up and walk the hand back to the side body, deepening that twist slightly, looking over the shoulder, trying to look to find the feet. And again, inhale back to center, bring the knees together. And what we do to one side, flip to the opposite side, opening the knees again, adjusting yourself so you're comfortable. And let's inhaling up and exhale down. Walk the hands as far as they can comfortably go. And then exhale, walk the hands to the outside, staying nice and low. And breathing here. Just relax your body. Let the twist do its magic and breathe. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, let's walk the hands, deepening the twist, bring them right into the body, turning the head, trying to find our feet with our eyes. Good. Feel that deep inhalation. Let's come back to the center, back to top. And take a minute here again through Vajrasana. Let's stretch out the ankles and the toes before we come into our downward dog. So leaning back, you can use the hands here for balance. Otherwise, you can just lean, bring your hands possibly into a prayer position. If this is a bit uncomfortable, but you do want to try, or the balance is a bit difficult, or your ankles are a bit sensitive, stick something underneath here and you can still get a nice deep stretch, but you don't have to worry too much about any tension happening in the ankles. And when you're ready, let's stretch out the toes. So leaning forward, back to that tabletop position. Curl the toes under and leaning back just for a moment. Wiggling the feet around, wiggling your shoulders, feeling any movement or any tension in the body. Just wiggle it out. Don't hang on to it. It'll be different for everybody, so just really start to listen to your body. And when you're ready, let's come into a downward dog. So leaning forward again, let's line up the palms, lining up the wrists, shoulders and elbows. And when you're ready, pushing into the hands, bringing the thighs into the chest. Now here, we may feel a little bit tight, so just step back. And as you step back, start to walk it out, lengthening your legs. Again, coming back to that bicycling type of sensation. And when you're ready, we're going to come into our first vinyasa. So we will do a very gentle Surya Namaskar A. From a downward dog, let's walk our feet to the top of our mat. And before we come up, let's just grab the elbows and bounce, releasing any tension. Really grounding the feet. And when you're ready, release the hands, arms, and inhaling up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Tuck the hips in. And continue and complete your inhalation with the arms all the way up. And exhaling down. Samastita. Take a moment just to stand nice and tall. Look at your toes. Tips of the toes should be touching. Lift your toes, spread them wide. Just start to feel that balance in your feet. Close your eyes. Visualize you are a tree. You are a rooted entity. You are growing tendons into the earth. So this is Tadasana. Standing tall, feeling strong, feeling bones lengthening. With every inhale, the balloon in your belly expanding, shoulders dropping. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, just as we did in the beginning, arms up, shoulders down, eyes of the elbows open, tips of the fingers touching. You can put a slight back bend here if you're comfortable, and just hold this for a moment. It could just be straight up. If you're straight up, shoulders are down. Feel the gravity. Breathing deeply. Play with your spine, being very gentle. And when you're ready, let's exhale. Open your arms. Nice straight back, coming down. And let your head drop. Let your arms relax. If your hands are on the ground, or your knees, or your thighs, or the block, or your toes, it does not really matter. Find length in this position. And on your next inhale, let's lift the spine, coming up with a nice straight back, hands to the knees, shoulders down, eyes of the elbows open. Really opening the capillaries here. And exhale down. Let's bend the knees now, so making sure that the palms come into the ground, and just feel that release in the lower back. You can wiggle your arms around, wiggle your back a little bit. And exhale, we're going to step back with both legs, one by one or both together.
return to that downward dog just for a moment. Feel grounded in this position. And then we're going to shift the weight to the hands. So inhaling, shifting the weight, and straightening the body in a high plank. Adjust your legs as you need. If this is a bit intense, come down to your knees. Otherwise, we're going to drop down. And when you're ready, exhaling down. And this time, let your entire body drop down to the ground. Feet flat, tops of the feet flat on the floor. The hands should be almost directly under your shoulders, under your armpits. I'm going to just take a moment to let the forehead press down and relax here. Just preparing the body to come up, but taking it in midstream. When you're ready on your next inhale, let's begin to push into the hands. Keep the chin into the chest until the last minute. So another nice spine extension. Inhale, lift as far as you're comfortable. And exhale, dropping the chin into the chest and then bending the elbows, coming back down. Wonderful. We're going to come back up. So hands are going to be activated directly almost beside the chest now, just underneath the armpit. We're going to curl the toes. Come on. This is an Ashtanga position. 8 limbs of the body touching. 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 knees. The tip of the nose and the forehead. When you're ready, let's push back up into a child position. And from here, rounding that back up. And rather than coming down into a up dog, we're going to use this to come back up into our downward dog and walk the feet. And walk them slowly all the way up to the top of your mat. And once you're there again, let's just hang here. You can hang on to the toes and pull yourself down. If you're feeling quite limber, you can step on your palms, getting into a more gorilla-like position, and still pull your body down. Feel your femurs opening. That's your thigh bones. Your thigh bones opening nice and wide. Breathing very deeply. And when you're ready, keeping the chin tucked into the chest, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. And inhale. Last thing to come up is the chin, the arms. And exhale down. Samastita. We're going to come into another vinyasa, this time Surya Namaskar B. Again, a very gentle position. We just did that one Surya Namaskar A in about 5 or 6 minutes. In a more Ashtanga-like practice, we would do 108 in 20 minutes. So a very vigorous practice. When you're ready, again, let's put the tips of the toes together touching, and we're going to try and touch the knees, okay? So tips of the toes touching. Again, lift all of your toes, spread them wide, and your knees can bend. And as they bend, try to bring them together. We're going to come into Uttanasana, chair position. So again, I will change position just for demonstration. And when you're ready, we're going to bend the knees and start to then bring our buttocks out, knees forward. Our shoulders are going to stay up and inhaling arms up. So a really deep seated position. Now, if you're not comfortable there, of course, you can use blocks on the side, or you can just kind of start to sit. It can be a very intense position if you haven't activated some of the muscles in the legs, but keep those knees pushing in together and just feel that support. Good. By now, if you are still here, you are going to love inhaling, straightening, and exhale, forward bend. And again, just hang here for a moment. This time as we hang here, we're going to put an extra stretch. So let's inhale, lift the right leg, and exhale, drop it behind the left ankle.
and walk out to the left side, to the right side. And exhale back to center. Let's lift that leg up again. And exhale, drop it down. Inhale, opposite leg now. Lifting it up and crossing it behind and over the opposite leg. And turning, walking your hands in the opposite direction. Inhale, coming back to center, release that leg and drop it down. Let's bend both knees, again, pressing them into each other. We're not going to come into an Uttanasana again, but let's just press the hands down. So feel that space, both hands and both feet strong, pressing in. And let's exhale, slowly walk, step, or jump back. Again to a downward dog. This time we're going to put some movement into it. So left leg nice and high. And let's bend it, opening to the side slightly. A little bit of a wagging the dog. If you'd like to go into a deeper dragon, feel free, but today I'll just stand here. And let's inhale back to center. And big step forward, 90. And if it's a bit intense, you can drop it down, flatten the back foot.
Inhaling up into a warrior one, slight back bend, arms up, tips of the fingers touching, and exhaling down.
Lengthening back to a downward dog again. So lifting the opposite leg, in my case, right leg. Big step forward. And inhaling up. And exhale. Planting the palms. And again, downward dog. You can take a minute to walk the leg here. Find any spaces, any pockets that want to come out. And this time, let's walk the hands back to the feet so that we're in a standing forward bend. And again, ragdoll positions, so arms holding the elbows and just put a bit of a bounce. Almost like you're churning with your arms. And let's exhale, coming down through that squatting position. This time we will hold for a moment, so our ankles, feet, toes are already stretched out. This time let's hold. If you'd like to just continue to be in this stretching toes position, it's absolutely fine. Otherwise, trying to hold. Your thumbs can be into the sternum, the rhythm of your heart. Your fingers can be pressed out, giving direction to that rhythm. The sound of the ocean is upon us. And when you're ready, we're just going to sit back onto our bottoms and in a nice, gentle Navasana. So hold hands into the elbows. This time, chin into the chest, and just try to balance here. Find that sweet spot in your sacrum. Sacrum is the seat of the Kundalini according to yoga tradition. The Kundalini is the great energy bound up, the storehouse within each of us, just waiting to be unleashed. Let's turn this into a basket. So opening the hands to the knees and extending just a little bit, feeling the stretch in the shoulders. Find that edge. And inhaling up. We're going to come into a few deeper holds now. One front bend, one back bend. And of course you can modify as you like. But when you're ready, let's inhale, lengthen, try to find a bit of balance, and then point your toes, and we're going to slam the feet down so that the heels push into the ground quite hard, like this. Must point your toes so you get a nice jolt in the heels. And exhale, let's have a nice forward bend. Now we are going to use this as a yin position. So I'm going to set the time for about 5 minutes. If this is your first yin, you may want to just for about 2 or so. But I would encourage you to elongate your practice. Now again, however you're in a forward bend is up to you. If you'd like to bring the legs into konasana, if you'd like to have the legs straight out in front of you, if you'd like to come into a straddle type of position, those are my 3 favorite that are basically hitting the same areas in the back. And of course, this variety of Paschimottanasana, specifically just this 2 legs straight, forward bend, is one of the top 4 positions in all of the different varieties, whether you are looking at a more Iyengar type of modern yoga or the classic yin, or even in Raja preparations. Raja being, of course, the king yoga. And Raja Yoga is purely the meditation and breathing, which is, of course, what this is preparing us for. This body that we have is basically just the vessel that carries our head and mind and spirit and energy around. So the more that we get those kinks and all that stress out of the physical body, the easier it is to get to those higher mental states. And of course, the vehicle to get there is the breath itself. So training the breath is the first thing that we have to do. That's coming up to 2 minutes. So if this is your edge, you may want to wiggle around and come out of this a little bit. Otherwise, let's hold this for another 3 minutes. And I'm going to let you really melt into your position and enjoy your breathing. It's 3 minutes. Feel the changes happening in your body and just take the seat of the observer and be witness. As we are in a forward bend, focusing on the upper back quadrants of the lungs, we often have that egocentric sense that our lungs, our heart, our everything is forward facing because our eyes and senses are forward facing. But in actuality, the great mass of respiratory organ is in the back body, protected by the ribs, surrounded by intercostal muscles, of course, supported by the spinal column, which itself protects all the nerves going throughout the body. Coming up on 4 minutes here. Enjoy this last minute of peace and breath. So quickly we can come into this state. So easily we can find this place for ourselves anytime we desire. However, we forget, or we choose otherwise, or we think it's not going to work, or I'm not sure why that narrative sometimes allows us to stay away from our practice, but
The deeper we allow the breath to carry us into the position, the greater the benefits and the greater the urge to return, because your body will literally start to crave these sensations. Now, on your next inhale, that's bringing us up to 5 minutes. So nice and slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, coming up. Wonderful. Now, we're going to find a wall for our next yin position, and we're going to hold again for another 5 minutes. So up against the wall. And if you don't have a wall, that's absolutely fine. You can just put your 2 legs up in the air. You can use a strap. And again, you can choose legs straight in Konasana or out in a straddle-like position. For myself, I'm going to choose the straddle position here. Arms out to the side. And again, just become an observer to your breath and to your body. Feel the blood, feel the prana, feel the circulation, feel the lymph, feel everything gravitating back to the earth. And breathe. Let your legs widen if they so find the space, but be mindful of your edge. Your edge is 70% of your full capacity. So once you have found that edge, just sit there, breathe there, and spend the time with the stillness. Any places of tension or tightness. Reminding yourself the balloon in your belly is making you softer and lighter with every inspiration. That wave is traveling up your spine, and as it does so, leaving footprints along each vertebrae, lengthening, feeling the grounding in each vertebrae. That's coming up to 2.5 minutes. So half of our time has elapsed. And we'll stay here for another 2.5 minutes longer. Feeling that wave, putting pressure inside the body and just being mindful and appreciating the power that pressure has. Just think about the pressure in an airplane cabin or a submarine, high above or low, deep below the ground upon which we walk, and the major differences that can happen. Pressurization in the right place at the right time. We are having various chemical reactions every second while we are breathing, without knowing, without being mindful, without paying attention. Once we start to focus and really intentionally put our breath to work for our body, our mind, our spirit, we will literally begin to witness miracles and tap into that Kundalini energy, which is the infinite potential within each and every human without any exception. Without exception, we have this, every single human. And if you choose to disbelieve, then look how powerful you are. You have even prevented yourself from becoming the superhero that you were meant to be. Just passing 4 minutes. Feel the way. And when you're ready, if you're against the wall, let's bring our legs up, bring the feet together, and bend the knees. Now, if you're on the floor, it can be the same thing, just bend the feet. We're going to do a reverse tabletop position. So hands by our side, fingers facing downward. If you need to find a little bit of space from the wall, that's fine. And if you are flat on the ground, also absolutely fine. On your first inhale, let's push into the shoulders, into the feet, and lift, pushing the chin into the chest, and giving a nice reverse table, releasing all that pressure in the spine. Do not look around. Keep your chin tucked into the chest. Activate Chaturanga. And exhale slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, coming back down very slowly. And we'll do that 3 times. When you're ready, inhaling again, lifting. This is stage 1. Coming to stage 2, of course, we start to walk the shoulders in, interlace the fingers behind and under the back. That's stage 2. And exhale, release the hands, release the shoulders, release the spine. Slowly coming back down. On your next inhale, last one, again with variation if you so choose. So stage 1 is a wonderful place to be. Stage 2, you can walk the shoulders and interlace the fingers. Stage 3, we start to bring our hands up to support the lower back, fingers on the outside of the waist, thumbs to the outside of the waist, fingers touching at the spine, and we can inhale and start to lift. And we can start to play with our balance here a little bit as well. And of course, eventually getting into Halasana. But not today, just feeling the freedom in the space that we have. On your next exhale, let's slowly release. Walk the shoulders out, release the spine, and bringing the knees into your chest. And let's just rock side to side, nice and gently, up and down if you need it. Bringing the chin into the chest, putting a nice counter pose, little rock and roll if we need. And when you're ready, I'll just adjust myself for purposes. And if you are at the wall, of course, as well, feel free to come back and find your Shavasana. Close your eyes. Deepen your breath. Palms are outside, facing upward. Feet are flailing to the side, facing upward. Feel the wave rolling through your body. If you'd like to decrease, if you feel any pinching in the lower back, you can just bend your legs slightly and feel that automatic release. You can even put a block or a bolster or something, or just let them hang out to the side a little bit. The legs don't have to be completely straight. Find what works for you. And this practice is very much about finding what works for you. Continuing to breathe very deeply. Scanning the body, rotating your mind through the body, using your consciousness to open any place of tension or tightness and allow that stress to travel and release with your expiration. Imagine, visualize it just as morning mist rises up from a morning pond. Very gently begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Wiggle your jaw side to side, allowing your head to turn to the left, pressing the ear to the earth, and to the right. Nice and slow movements. Inhaling, arms up, overhead, interlacing the fingers. And exhale, stretching to the left. And back to center, exhaling. Inhaling to the right. And exhaling back to center. Inhale, interlace the hands around the knees. And here you can find stillness, rock side to side, up and down, back and forth. You can make small circles with the knees. Knees can be angled 90 or otherwise. Adjusting the angle of your knees and the distance or the circumference, of your circle, depending on where you may feel the body needing a bit of an extra bit of attention. Remember, where attention goes, energy flows. Use your mind as the first step to bring awareness and health and healing back into our bodies. On your next exhale, keeping the knees tucked in tightly to the chest, let's roll over to the right side using the right bicep as a pillow. In this original fetal position, take a moment to thank those who have helped you to become what you are. Take a moment to send your love to those who are suffering. Allow a smile to come across the face, releasing endorphins from the practice, reminding yourself that the effects of yoga continue long after we leave the mat. And when you are ready, and only when you are ready, very gently, in your own time, coming back up into a comfortably seated position. Take a moment to feel the effects of the practice on the body. Eyes closed, mind open, heart deep, body relaxed. Breath is soft, natural. And when you are ready, it is traditional to close the practice by chanting Om together 3 times. If you're not comfortable, that's fine. Enjoy the vibration. This is a vibration creation as well as a breath extension. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Atma Namaste. Thank you very much for your time and your practice. I remind you, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the emotions, you are not the situation in which you find yourself. You are the breath, you are the light, you are what is, was, and always shall be.